I think I've always been interested in language from a very young age. I'm always curious about the sounds of words and the different meanings that single words can have. My name's Chris McCabe. I'm a poet. I'm a librarian at the Poetry Library. We're currently in the Poetry Library in the Royal Festival Hall on the South Bank Centre of London. I first became involved with Curious at West Norwood Cemetery because I was asked by the curator to be one of the artists featured in this year's exhibition, which opens in June. I was approached as a poet. They've not worked with a poet before. What I'm planning to do as part of Curious this year is to investigate where the poets are buried in the cemetery. So far I've found that there are 10 notable poets buried there. It's been an intricate process. I've been given a map of the cemetery. For each poet I've marked on the location. I've found their grave locations, and I've been kind of investigating not only where they are buried and the facts of their lives, but also attempting to unearth their writing as well. So what I'm going to do is create an anthology of their poems. I'm going to take a snippet from a poem by each poet, and I'm going to have that engraved onto a stone. So a stone from the cemetery will become their poem in the book that I'm making. So it'll be a bound edition of 10 poets' work that people can experience as an artwork. They can read it as a book. They can use it as a way of taking their reading of these poets' work a step further. The other part of the research, of course, is finding their poems. I've got one here, a Greek poet called Demetrius Kapesonakis. So looking through his poems, he's a significant one for me because it's through his work I first got the idea of carving the words onto stones. For his stone, I'm going to use the two words clotted sun. And what I'm doing here, I'm editing their work and anthologizing their work, but I'm also using my idea of what I think is interesting poetry to select from their work the phrase that I want to use. So I can kind of feel, I can feel the ghosts kind of up in arms at certain points, kind of when they find me digging around in what they might feel is the worst poem, or I'm digging out what might be the only bad phrase in a good poem in their view. They've kind of got no control over it anymore, and it's kind of in my hands. So with that, I feel a kind of curious charge of responsibility to try and get it right. It's fascinating working on a project where you don't really know fully where it's going. What's helpful is having a deadline, so I'm kind of working towards this date where I've got to deliver this artwork for the exhibition, and the process I'm in at the moment is kind of deciding on what words I'm going to choose from the poets. Then I've got to get the book made. There's just enough time to work with the bookmaker, with the stone engravers. So it's kind of so quick and intense just making it happen that I know there's this whole emotional experience as well, which I'm not fully allowing myself to think through until we get to the point of delivering the object to the cemetery itself.